Alrighty, guys, we are 11-3 with a push in our last 15 NFL tier package bets on my website. But before we get into some more of that, just want to take a quick timeout and welcome you to the video here today for Wednesday, September 28th, 2022. My name is Brock Page, and I do sports picks for free right here on YouTube. I also sell my personal bets at patreon.com/BrockPage. Once again, guys, I'm 11-3 with a push in my last 15 NFL tier package bets on that website. And the link for those plays is in the description section below. I currently have over 665 people who are signed up and active on my website right now. And with that, guys, let's go ahead and dive into some Major League Baseball action here today. We're going to take a look at the Reds squaring off against the Pirates, 12:35 East. Pittsburgh's minus $120, totals 8 runs. Bryce Wilson for the Pirates, Luis Cessa for Cincinnati. Now, the struggling Reds have gotten the W in 4 out of Luis Cessa's last 6 starts. They're also led by Kyle Farmer, who's got a club best 74 runs batted in on the season. Now, Farmer's going up against Bryce Wilson here today on the mound for Pittsburgh. And Bryce has had one tough year. He's 3-9 on the season with an ERA dangerously close to 6. And when it comes to the hitting, well, the Buccos haven't done much of that this season. They actually have the lowest team batting average in the National League. Now, total-wise, oddly enough, 6 out of Pittsburgh's last 10 outings did get over the number. They also went 8-1 to the over in their last 9 Bryce Wilson starts. Now, Cincy, on the other side, they went 60% to the over in their last 10 head-to-head meetings with Pittsburgh. So if you're into historical trends, certainly want to think about that one there. I'm going to lean toward Cincinnati plus $1 over 8. Next ball game, Rays, Guardians, 6:10 p.m. East. Cleveland's minus $1.25, total 6.5. Tristan McKenzie for Cleveland. Tyler Glasnow making his season debut for Tampa Bay. Now, the bad news is, guys, I can't give you a free pick on this game here. It's actually being featured as my $1.99 daily best play on my website. But the good news is, guys, if you want to see whether I'm betting on the money line, run line, or total in this one, well, it's only going to cost you just $1.99. And the link for that bet is in the description section below. Once again, that is my $1.99 daily best play. Next matchup, little AL Central action. I'm talking about the Royals at the Tigers, 6:40 p.m. East. Detroit's the $1.30 favorite at home, totals 8 runs. Matt Manning for Detroit, Daniel Lynch for Kansas City. And even though Danny Lynch has had a pretty tough season here, he is averaging just about a strikeout an inning. He's got well over 100 strikeouts on the year. Meanwhile, as a team, the Royals got the dub in 6 out of their last 9. They averaged just about 6 runs a game during that time frame. Bobby Witt Jr., he's leading the franchise in runs batted in. He's got 80 of them. Meanwhile, Salvi Perez, he's the club leader in home runs. Now, this lineup's facing Matt Manning here today on the other side, who's actually looked pretty good this season himself, but he has just 2 wins on the year. Meanwhile, at the plate, the Tigers continue to stink it up with regard to producing runs. They're dead last in scoring, dead last in OPS. Now, no real surprise here, guys. The Tigers are hitting fewer home runs than any other club in the majors. When it comes to the total in this one, 3 out of Detroit's last 4 at Comerica Park stayed under the total. Matter of fact, the Tigers have gone 63% to the under in all of their home games this year. Meanwhile, Kansas City saw unders in 6 out of their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward KC plus 1.5, under 8. Next ball game, little NL East action. I'm talking about the Braves at the Nationals. That'll be a 7:05 Eastern first pitch in the nation's capital. Atlanta's the $2.20 favorite on the road, totals 8.5 runs. Jake Odorizzi for Atlanta, Josiah Gray for Washington. And even though Gray struck out a whole lot of batters this year, he's also given up his fair share of runs. He's got an ERA in the 5s along with double-digit losses. Meanwhile, as a team, the Nats dropped 7 out of their last 9. and they're averaging only 3.8 runs a game for the entire season. Now they're facing a Braves club on the other side of things, who got the W in their last 4 straight themselves. They've also done a nice job this year hitting the baseball. The Braves are currently averaging just about 5 runs a game for the entire year. They're also leading the National League in home runs. And when it comes to the number, 4 out of Atlanta's last 6 road games did get over the line. No real surprise there. Jay Odorizzi also saw 6 out of his last 8 starts get over the total as well. I'm going to lean toward Atlanta minus 1.5, over 8.5 runs. Next ball game, it is going to be Yankees taking on the Blue Jays, 7:07 Eastern first pitch. The New York Yankees are minus 130, total 7.5. Garrett Cole for New York, Mitch White for Toronto. And even though Mitch hasn't pitched great, well, this is a Toronto club who can certainly score with the best of them. Matter of fact, these guys are currently leading the big leagues right now in team batting average at the dish. Alejandro Kirk, he's hitting just about 300 at the plate. He's currently the club leader in that batting average category. He has the highest qualifying batting average in the lineup here today. Meanwhile, teammate Vlad Guerrero Jr., he has a team best 30 home runs and 92 RBI. Now, they're taking on a Yankee club on the other side who actually has a tough time getting hits as the away team. They also clinched yesterday, so, might have a few guys hung over today, maybe a little sluggish. Plus, when it comes to the motivation factor, you certainly got to think about that one there. But anyway, when it comes to the stats, the numbers, we're looking at a Yankee squad who's in the bottom 10 in the league in road hits per contest. Now, total-wise, New York saw overs in 6 out of their last 10 outings. Meanwhile, Toronto went 60% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward Toronto plus $1.10, over 7.5. Next ball game, some more NL East action. I'm talking about the Marlins at the Mets, 7:10 Flushing, Queens. New York's minus 185, total 7. Taijuan Walker for New York, Jesus Luzardo for Miami. And even though Luzardo's pitched well, the Fish just don't want to win for him. Luzardo comes into today's contest with a 3-7 record. Meanwhile, batting-wise, the Marlins have been pretty bad all season long. They're in the bottom 3 in runs per contest. They're also facing Taijuan Walker here today, who's got a dozen wins on this season, along with an ERA in the 3s. Now, this Mets lineup has also been dynamite all year long. They're in the top 3 in batting average, and they're led by Pete Alonso, who's got a league-best 131 runs batted in. Now, Pete's also 3rd in the majors with 40 homers. When it comes to the total, oddly enough, 5 out of Walker's last 7 starts did fall under the number. The Marlins, on the other side, they also went 60% to the under in their last 10. I'm going to lean toward the Mets, minus 185, under 7. Next ball game, Orioles, Red Sox, 7:10 p.m. East. Boston's minus $1.20, totals 9. Rich Hill for the Bo Sox, Dean Kramer for Baltimore. When it comes to the total in this one, the O's did see their last 3 straight on the road get over the number. They're also 7-3 to the over in their last 10 at any location. Meanwhile, the Bo Sox went 70% to the over in their last 10 themselves. When it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my MLB tier package bet on my website, and the link for that play is in the description section below. I'm currently 6-3 in my last 9 MLB tier package bets on my website. And just remember, guys, if you sign up for that package, you're going to get access to all the cheaper memberships on my website, absolutely free. They're going to be included with your purchase. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward the over 9 runs in that game. Next matchup, Phillies at the Cubs, 7:40 Wrigley. Phillies minus 185 on the road, total 7. Aaron Nola for the Fightins, Hayden Wesneski for Chicago. And out of just 22 innings of work this year, Wesneski's actually got himself a couple wins on the year, along with a stingy .82 whip. He's also averaging over a strikeout an inning during that short span. Now, as a team, the Cubs have won 6 out of their last 7 ball games. And they do a nice job of pitching at Wrigley. This pitching staff's actually in the top 10 in the league right now in fewest home hits allowed. Now they're facing a Phillies team who's on a 3-game skid themselves. And they also took the loss in 7 out of their last 10. Certainly bad timing for that, as they are right in the heart of a wild card chase here. You know, nothing like crawling to the finish line. And even though Aaron Nola has been exceptional this season, he still has a dozen losses on the year and a losing record. Now, total-wise, 3 out of Philly's last 4 road games fell under the number. Meanwhile, Chicago's 60% to the under in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Cubbies plus 1.5, under 7. Next game, Cards, Brewers, 7:40 p.m. East. Milwaukee's minus 145, total 7. Brandon Woodruff for Milwaukee, Jose Quintana for St. Louis. And once again, guys, unfortunately, this is another one of those games that I'm betting on personally on my website, so can't give you a freebie on this one. I apologize about that. This particular game is being featured as my extra daily bet on patreon.com/Brock Page. Now, the link for that extra daily bet is in the description section below, and it's only going to cost you just $2.99. And as a friendly reminder here, guys, if you sign up for that package here today, you're also going to get access to the daily best play absolutely free. It's going to be included with your purchase. Next matchup I have for you, it is going to be White Sox at the Twins, 7:40 p.m. East. Chicago's minus $1.20, total 7.5. Johnny Cueto for Chicago, Josh Winder for Minnesota. And even though Winder's found some trouble this year, he does come into today's game with a 1.25 whip. Meanwhile, as a team, the Twins got the W in 2 out of their last 3. They averaged 5 runs a game during that short span. Luis Arias, he's the team leader in batting average. He's actually hitting .312, which ranks in the top 5 in the majors right now. He's going up against Johnny Cueto here today, who's actually had some really good outings himself, but the Sox, for some reason, don't want to win for him. As a matter of fact, believe it or not, Cueto's just 1 loss shy of double digits for the year, and he does come into today's game with a losing record. His record is actually just 7-9 on the year. Now, as a team, the Chi Sox are currently on a 7-game skid, and they were held to just 3 runs or less 6 times during that span. When it comes to the number, Chicago went 70% to the under in their last 10 Johnny Cueto starts. Meanwhile, Minnesota, on the other side, they saw unders in 6 out of their last 10 outings themselves. I'm going to lean toward Minnesota plus $1, under 7.5. Next ball game, it is going to be D-backs at the Astros, 8:10 Eastern start time. Houston's minus $1.90, total 6.5. Justin Verlander for the Stros, Zach Gallen for Arizona. Now, Gallen's had a terrific season for the D-backs. He's 12-3 with a .89 whip. He's also 20 strikeouts shy of 200 for the year. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the D-backs have covered in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. Now, Christian Walker, he currently has 36 home runs on the year. He's actually 7th in the league in that category. And even though Justin Verlander's been nearly unhittable this year, the Stros actually did take the loss in his last start. They took the loss in his most recent start against Baltimore. They were actually shut out by the O's in that game. And as a matter of fact, Houston was beaten in 3 out of Verlander's last 6 starts as well. Now, when it comes to the total, Houston did go 5-1 to the under in those very 6 starts I just mentioned, those Verlander starts. Now, Houston's also gone 61% to the under at Minute Maid Park this year. Meanwhile, Arizona saw unders in 7 out of their last 10. I'm going to lean toward Arizona plus 1.5, under 6.5. Next game, Athletics taking on the Angels, 9:38 Eastern first pitch. LA's minus 195 at home, totals 8.5. Michael Lorenzen for LA, Adrian Martinez for Oakland. And even though Amart's given up a bunch of runs this year, he's still averaging nearly a strikeout an inning. Now, Oakland's also done a nice job cashing in on the run line against the AL West. They're 19-14 against the number while traveling. They're also facing Michael Lorenzen for LA, and he's got an ERA close to 5. And speaking of cashing in on the run line, the Angels have covered in only 11 out of 33 divisional home games, and of course that's good for only 33% in that category. Now, scoring-wise, 7 out of LA's last 10 meetings with Oakland stayed under the total. So once again, if you're into historical trends, plenty of unders to go around. Now, LA also saw 3 out of their last 4 at Angel Stadium stay under the line as well. I'm going to lean toward Oakland plus 1.5, keeping that one close, under 8.5 runs. Next ball game, Dodgers, Padres, 9:40 p.m. East. LA's minus 145, total 7.5. Julio Urias for Los Angeles, Joe Musgrove for San Diego. Now, when it comes to the total, the Pods did see 3 out of their last 4 at Petco Park stay under the number. As a matter of fact, these guys have gone 41-32 to the under in all of their home games this year. Meanwhile, LA saw 7 out of their last 10 fall under the total themselves. When it comes to selecting a winner in this one, this game's being featured as my board member tier package bet on my website. And once again, guys, if you sign up for that board member package here today, you're going to get access to all the cheaper memberships on my website absolutely free. The board member package is an all-inclusive membership. You get access to every single bet, every single package, every single day. But as far as making a free pick is concerned, I'm going to lean toward the under 7.5 in that game. Next matchup, Rangers, Mariners, 9:40 p.m. East. Seattle's minus 160, total 7. George Kirby for Seattle, Martin Perez for Texas. Now, Marty's 12-6 on the year with an ERA in the 2s. He's also struck out well over 150 batters this season. When it comes to cashing in on the run line, the Rangers have covered in 61% of their divisional road games. Now, they've also been a legit threat to hit the long ball all season long. They're in the top 10 in homers, and they're led by Corey Seager, who has 32 bombs on the year. And even though starting pitcher George Kirby has been solid for Seattle, the Mariners took the loss in 7 out of their last 10. Even worse than that, the Mariners were held to just 1 run or less in 6 out of those 7 losses during that span. Now, when it comes to the total, Seattle saw unders in 6 out of their last 10 ball games. They've also gone 63% to the under in their divisional home games. Meanwhile, Texas, on the other side, they saw 3 out of their last 4 Martin Perez starts fall under the line. I'm going to lean toward Texas, plus 1.5, under 7. And with that, guys, we're going to jump into our next and final matchup for the video. It is going to be Rockies at the Giants, 9:45 East. This game's currently off the board. Sean Shell for San Francisco, Jose Urena for Colorado. Now, Urena's got just 3 wins on the season, along with an ERA close to 6. When it comes to offensive production, the Rockies are scoring fewer runs a game on the road than any other club in the league. They're facing a Giants team who won 7 out of their last 8, and they averaged nearly 5.5 runs a game during that span. Wilmer Flores is the club leader with 69 runs batted in. I'm going to go ahead and lean toward San Francisco getting the job done for some money line cash. And with that, guys, now it's time for our quick pick recap. I like Cincinnati plus $1 over 8. Now, I can't give you a free pick in the Tampa Bay Cleveland game. That's being featured as my daily best play on my website. Give me Kansas City plus 1.5 under 8. Atlanta minus 1.5 over 8.5. Toronto plus $1.10 over 7.5. New York Mets minus 185 under 7. I like the over 9 runs in the Baltimore-Boston game. And as far as picking a winner, well, that game's being featured as my MLB tier package bet on my website. I like the Cubs plus 1.5 under 7. Now, I can't give you a free pick in the Cardinals-Brewers game. That game's being featured as my extra daily bet on my website. Give me Minnesota plus $1 under 7.5. I like Arizona plus 1.5 under 6.5. Give me Oakland plus 1.5 under 8.5 runs. I like the under 7.5 in the Dodgers-Padres game. And if you're looking for a pick on the sides in that one, that game's being featured as my board member tier package bet on my website. I like Texas plus 1.5, under 7. And with my next and final free pick for the video, I'm going to lean towards San Francisco getting the job done for some money line cash. And with that, guys, that's going to do it for me. Gotta thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. And with that said, guys, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.